Thank you so much. It's an honor and pleasure serving as a moderator to this panel. Thank you so much for your resilience, staying with us for the last panel of the day. I'm sure it's been a long 2 days. Our aim for this discussion is to better understand and navigate how the leadership and CSuite of each organization can be ready and integrate AI in their teams and organizations in terms of readiness assessment, upskilling for them, their teams, and the whole organization for sure. If you agree, if you mind, we can take 1 minute each to have a personal intro, and then we can deep dive into a discussion. Alex.
There is another microphone.
It's okay. So I'm Alexandros Basakidis. I'm one of the co-founders of Agile Actors. Agile Actors, for those who do not know us, is an organization that provides augmentation services to the customers in terms of skills and roles. We are a technical company, and we engage in various domains of software development, like Java, .NET, front-end development, data, machine learning, and so forth.
Hello. Does it work? Hello. Not yet.
Hello.
Okay, after this small change. Hello, I'm Nicoletta Marziotti. I'm Chief Operating Officer at SLED. SLED, for you that don't know it, is a digital agency that is operating 15 years now in Greek market. I think we are one of the biggest agencies with more than 200 people headcount right now. My role as Chief Operating Officer has a lot to do about efficiencies and how we can make our next 3 to 5 years plan to be as efficient, as growing as possible. Talking about AI and using AI in all this future is more than a buzzword for me and my role, and I hope we have a very interesting conversation today about that.
Great. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Giannis, for inviting us. So basically, I'm Nikos. I'm leading the global talent acquisition for metal and energy and metals, which we're a company that work at the intersection of ETC and metallurgy. And I'm heading our delivery and talent acquisition processes globally for around 41 countries. So it's kind of crazy, but also super interesting. And prior to that, I used to be in the startup ecosystem, prior to that, aviation, hospitality, huge fond of AI. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the intros. Yeah, take us a couple of minutes. So, we understand that we're, let's say, in the implementation era of AI. It's, let's say, a more mature tool, a more mature technology. To be fair, we have, we're using a lot of solutions on day-to-day activities, etc. But given that we're discussing about how each organization leaders can actually navigate these waters, we should first start with the readiness assessment. And I'm starting with you. Do you believe that there is actually an understanding about the AI as a technology from the organization and its leaders, or we're just moving ahead because there is a tool in front of us and we are, let's say, getting this information from everywhere?
Okay, first of all, I need to say that year over year and even month over month, the AI usage statistics become more and more, I don't know, it was 1 digit, it's 2 digits, now it's close to 60 or 70%. So there are a lot of surveys that they are now showing that people are using AI. There are surveys that are telling us that 60 to 70% of the companies have already implemented AI initiatives for at least one of the business units. In US, surveys show that 1 out of 2 companies, now they're actually paying AI generative tools for their employees. So people are very eager to use AI. On the other hand, the same surveys show that only 5% of the companies are future-proof towards AI, which means that only 5% of the companies have found a way to make AI work for their company and for their bottom line results. All in all, what I think is that a lot of people, more than the half, have understood the importance of AI for the future. But there is still a small amount of people that actually know how to use AI to achieve their company and their personal goals.
So, in general, organizations are really enthusiasts about AI, are very curious about AI, but it seems they're not all of them ready. And maybe the biggest issue is their data quality, and the foundations beneath that. So even though they have spent quite a significant amount of money and time and effort in digital transformation projects, still seems that quite many pieces are missing. So, for instance, the data quality is one of the biggest issues. Still, data sit in silos, owned by different departments, with issues in the format, in governance, and of course the technology always is not there. Sound infrastructure would require, for instance, standard APIs, microservices, practices like MLOps, which is the DevOps practice for deploying machine learning models to the cloud. And quite often organizations find themselves when they're trying to build machine learning, when they're trying to create models, AI models, they find themselves doing less of a modeling work and more of reconciling and these sort of things regarding their data. So it seems that maybe around 20% of the organizations are ready, and the rest of them should pay attention not in acquiring one AI tool after the other, but to build a sound infrastructure and trustworthy data.
For sure, especially for large enterprises, this should be the case. But besides data, the other back should be people. And Nikos, from your experience trying to implement AI solutions into a multinational huge organization, do you believe that people fear change, and how do you handle that?
Oh yeah, I think what looks to the room is kind of evident, the fear of AI, and it's kind of basically it's twofold, and this is to an extent justified, yet geared towards your own direction. Because people, they're getting afraid of getting replaced, and executives, they're getting afraid of staying relevant to something that they don't fully comprehend and but with big skills. But both stem from the same fear, like low confidence and low AI literacy. So the antidote here for me is like good governance, compliance, and AI literacy.
That's for sure. If I'm being honest, this was the case for myself as well. It's not easy to trust a tool to make decisions and go through the whole logic process for you. It's a bit hard to comprehend. So moving on from readiness, if we say that we should pursue organizations to move on the next phase and actually implement AI solutions, either it's on our processes or developing tools, etc. Starting from the hard skills, what are the skill set that is currently missing from the most organization in order to make sure business cases around AI?
Okay, I think in general most organizations have have maybe not all the skills, but have a lot of skills, they don't necessarily realize they do have them. So starting from the software engineering skills, people who build the infrastructure, the AI lives on. Other technical skills like data engineering, data science, analysts, people who have spent a significant amount of time towards machine learning models. Of course, commonly overlooked role is this of the domain expert. People who understand the business and know what good value is, and they help put a meaning into AI. And of course, there are other roles like legal, compliance, risk, roles that play an important part nowadays that the governments legislate for the AI. So the important thing is that all these roles coordinate under a plan, under a strategy, and they do not work in isolation. So each department does its own things without one department know about the other.
That's how very inside coming from a human background. When I hear transferable skills, it's like a magic phrase for me. So you're saying that we should look within, and some skills are there. So we should assess our people and transfer. That's really nice. But what about if we want to hire from the outside? What are the current top priorities for organizations looking in terms of skills and people so they can lead this transformation?
I think mainly there are also some European surveys that they say that the most sought after roles and the most difficult to hire right now are all the AI related roles. Let's say a machine learning specialist, prompter, prompting engineer, or head of AI. So right now, it's very difficult to find a person to have a full-time role concerning AI. Even if you find this person, it is difficult that now they're trying to develop what we're calling the fusion skills for AI. For example, there is a buzzword, intelligent interrogation. When you talk to Gen AI models, you just don't ask one question and take the answer, but you continue to ask and ask and ask until you form the answer that is more true and makes more sense. Secondly, you take this answer, okay? Then you have to judgmentally implement it. So you don't implement what it gives you. You don't copy and paste it to your manager, but instead you take the parts of this answer that make more sense for you and they're most easy or most logical to implement. And third, there is this reciprocal apprehending. So you train the model. You don't only ask and ask, but you also explain what you like, what you don't like, what was right, what was off the mark. So the next time that you need to communicate with this model is more ready than the last time. So even if you find this role really need to develop these three skills. And as mentioned before, if this role combine these skills with a specific industry knowledge, for example, okay, I am an AI expert, I have technical skills, but I know finance too. This is the most exotic, let's say, combination, the most difficult to find, and the most effective one right now.
About the process using AI, it's like best practices in Utopia. In my experience, we don't have the supervisors for sure. Nico, I've been really inspired by the way that you are transforming and you're leading change and work culture and processes and now AI in your organization. What do you believe are the main challenges when you're trying to persuade leadership and CSuite executives in the way that you want to implement your AI process?
Oh yeah, great question. And it's been quite a ride. So let's frame it like this. There are currently two types of worlds. As Alexander said, you have all the big tech that they're creating all the infrastructure, they're creating the models, they're creating the tools, and they're trying to commercialize AI. And then you have the business world that they're trying to keep up with that. And it's basically following two different, let's say, how to put it, they lag with each other. So leaders today, they have to understand how AI tools and what is missing from the skill set standpoint that I have to perceive, and also for myself, it's AI capability and leadership and how to connect the AI output to how you move and tilt the needle to EBIT and actual generating value versus just focusing on effort deduction. So now everyone is saying, like, create me a business case, what money we're going to put on the side if we do this implementation. But they don't check the endpoint, how many money we're going to generate or what value or merit we're going to add to the organization. So number one would be touch point on the AI literacy and capability and connect it to values. Then we already discussed about that, is data stewardship. Huge problem. Startups, they're better. They have open APIs, they are faster, but if you go to the corporate world, you have so many legacy systems operating. So basically they don't speak to each other and the data are nowhere near to the extent of valuing an AI and creating a model. And two things, AIU Act is now also making things legal. So it would be compliance and ethics, and lastly, biases. And lastly, which is coming up fast from what I'm seeing, is people that they have both the domain and the AI, so kind of a hybrid talent. And just yesterday, a very dear friend of mine shared with me an article from SHL, and they're framing it fantastically, how to convince and how to navigate yourself in the next years. So up at this point, we have something, like called task force-oriented workers or people that, you give a task at hand, it's very manual labor, and now we are entering an era that we have AI enhancing people. So they work with AI tools and there is some automation. What's coming up next is like the super employee type of approach, so you have fully embedded AI workflows. So if you don't prep yourself for that, I think you're going to be way behind. So bundle this all, when you have this conversation, but I think this is the way going forward.
Very true. Going to the last part of our discussion, I'm finding myself struggling, sometimes trying to create urgency to my team and the people around me about the way we should embrace AI, and almost always struggling to better understand what the future holds with the AI adoption, etc. I'm not even sure that I understand correctly. For sure, we never can predict the future, but we have some indications about where we're heading, etc. So, given the fact that I believe, as a panel, we agree that there are some skills, both technical and soft skills, that are missing from the whole organization and leadership. What should be a priority, and this is a question for you, what should be a priority for business leaders within the next 3 or 6 months in terms of skill development for their upper management teams, etc., so they can better lead their teams to AI implementation, managing both technical challenges and fears of things, and of course, fear of losing a job, which is the main fear of having the AI.
Okay. I'm going first. First of all, the C-suite and the leadership people, they really need to harden their hard skills, especially in Greece. There are a lot of leaders that are very, very good in managing the team and soft skill, but the AI era really needs the leaders prepared as their hard skill set. So a C-level manager, they will never write code, and they don't need to write code or to program something, and they won't need it in the future. But they have to be AI literate enough to understand its platform, to understand its capabilities and its limitations, so they can navigate their teams. So when they ask the technical teams, they know what to ask. They know which answers to expect, and they can, I don't know, say, okay, this is right, I won't do that, but they really need to lead by example. If I say, okay, I don't understand this AI thing, I know it's very, very useful, my people love it, do it, it will never gonna work, because my people need to ask me, and I need to be there to tell, oh yes, I've tried that, it doesn't work. Of course I won't know everything, of course I will ask the technical thing, but you're not out of the AI era, try to lead it. You're into the AI era, and you need to lead by example. And the second soft skill set is, we talked a lot about it, but it's the data understanding. It's not like, okay, I'm watching a report, I understand it, I am okay, because of course I'm doing that. But you really need to handle a complex analysis, because the AI era gives you complex analysis. And you need to handle all this complex analysis and to take real-time decisions based on that. So you don't expect only your team to understand it and to explain it to you. You really have to do it. So we really need to prepare ourselves to be more AI and data savvy. We're never gonna be developers or data engineers, but we need to come closer to this team, and I don't know, now it's English, but we're not the angles that we're sitting with the young people, as we say in Greek.
Sure. So basically, I fully agree with Nicole, and I would perceive it like best winners the next day would be the ones, not the ones with the biggest models, but the ones that they have the best governance, the best talent. And if we take a step back and focus out from the tools, because everyone going FOMO on tools, but AI is not about tools, it's about the mindset. Like you said, a holistic approach on how the world we will be like in 5 years from today, 2 years from today. So it's, as Nicole said, like how you understand data, how you do storytelling with data, how you create talent that understands how to have a symbiotic relationship with AI, how to generate value, when to use AI, when not to use AI. So these kinds of things that it needs to be top down from leadership. They have to understand it, and then infuse it to the extended leadership, like the directors, the heads, and then create that culture of embracing technology in its totality.
I can understand having that expectation for people coming out of tech background or people in the integrated tech space. I'm not pretty sure if we can have that expectation from people coming out of business, finance, or even construction, manufacturing, as well. The gap of the technical, let's say, understanding, it's a bit large, but understand, given the prevention before, that if we want to have business cases that are not only based on cutting expenses, then the only way we can achieve that is if our leaders can actually understand the way to use of that happy impact with AI. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
My view is along the lines of what the guy said. It's important that the leaders have some sort of literacy. They don't need to be data scientists, of course, but they need to have some sort of literacy. There are two main issues that quite often arise in organizations. Either the leader takes the AI initiatives as their pet projects, so they're running the projects without having the knowledge required to understand the craft. And the other issue is that quite often these kind of projects are being allocated to the tech departments, and they run as solely tech projects, which again, it's an issue. So their role is mainly visionary and also technically curious. They need to understand, for instance, concepts around data modeling and quality, and of course know other concepts like human-in-the-loop safeguard, metrics like bias or accuracy or drift. They're not technical, but they need to be able to understand discussions around these issues, so they challenge and they ask the difficult questions. And of course, mainly, They should set the vision, embed the ethics and accountability in the organization so it reflects the values of the organization, prioritize and engage in quick wins, short projects whereby embedding small AI functionality into existing application or products the organizations might have.
On the previous one, there was a mention about we shouldn't outsource the MVP or any other consultants AI implementation. You said that it's not a job that can be done by the leaders on their own or just from the technical team as an R&D project, etc. If you can give any practical, let's say, note or nudge to any leader, how they can actually implement AI in their organization, maybe who are the right people for them to rely on, if it's something that should be done as a system from the whole company, or there should be assigned to line managers or external advisors, etc. What would be your advice regarding how they should actually practical move forward and have some AI implemented with solid business cases and organizations?
Can I take that? And I can give you an example of what we're doing currently at Medlin. So at Medlin, we mostly believe in humanizing AI to an extent that you have that symbiotic relationship, and it's not one function's job. So getting siloed, as I said at the beginning, and like every department have their own views on what AI or how they should approach AI. So what we have done is that we have created a centralized committee, which is consisted by the compliance team, the IT team, the technology innovation, and then the head of the department that wants to implement, whatever AI or technology advancement that may be. And then we go through an approach that we say, okay, what is solving? What is the delta? Is it adding value? Are we okay from an ethics standpoint? And how we can tweak it? So, and I think it's a good approach because it's putting people on the table and creating that culture that we discussed earlier. Otherwise, it's just, you're going to have IT or like another department or another head that is a bit more progressive to have those fights with IT and convince leadership, and then it's getting siloed.
I don't know if you want to ask, I'm getting the point that we should all pitch in, everyone from their role. As you said, leaders should give their vision and actually say where we should move, and every line manager should persuade the teams and find actual implementations. That's great. Thank you so much for the discussion. I don't know if you have any questions to take from the audience.
Yes, we have some questions. So first is, how ready do you think most companies really are for AI? Or, okay, they are just pretending. I don't know if anyone of you would like to.
Yeah, they are not, basically. It's not like either from surveys. We'll go through Elstat surveys and statistics, and we talk about results, but BCG has a really nice survey they run, like for 2024, and they give that 31% of the companies that they are trying to implement AI, they are dropping it in the pilot phase. So I will perceive that, we are kind of ready, because though that we're focusing on tools themselves versus governance.
Yeah. So you talked about skills, but a question: what skills should leaders focus on first? Are they technical or soft skills? You think? The leaders.
The leaders, I think they need to start building understanding about AI. It's what I was saying previously. They need to start building understanding, basic understanding, building some AI literacy, so they know what they're talking about. They know why they're doing what they're doing. To set the vision of the organization. Where are we going and why we're going there with the AI tools? So my view is mainly on they need to understand the new technology that is coming and is here to stay and will change the world.
Okay, we talked about technical mostly.
I need to add something about that. We talked a lot about the hard skills because, as we said, it's very important to lead by example. But we need to remember that AI is a huge change. Maybe it's the change right now from, I don't know, from the beginning that we start working, that it's that huge. We don't know the result yet, and makes us super uncomfortable as people, as roles, as employees. So we need to remember the soft skills, the typical soft skills from the books that managers should have. So change management and empathy are very, very important. A lot of leaders, I don't know, lead not by fear, but they're not very adaptable to change. So if the leader does not adapt, the team is gonna know, and the team is not going to adapt. Or if there is no empathy, because there are people that they're afraid now that they're gonna lose their job, that they're gonna be irrelevant. So the leader need to have open communication and to build trust to their team through this new level.
And one final is, what's one mistake you see companies making when they start their AI transformation? What do you think is a mistake? What's the first thing that they are doing in their AI transformation journey?
If I have a take away one,
Yeah.
what you mentioned is that we start from the tools and not from the business impact. And, we never take into account how people work already, what their peers empathize with them. For sure.
Please. And I would say, as I totally agree, I would also say, yes, we need to remember that even though we may have a database already, if I speak as a software developer background, it doesn't mean that we're ready for adopting AI. So there is a lot of underlying work we need to do.
And to add that, my 2 cents is that we have to pivot to where we put our effort in implementing AI, because the first thing that comes to mind is how much money I'm going to save by integrating AI tool, where the question should be how much value I will generate. And it's normal, because most people, they're focusing on cost cutting, saving, and having huge other costs and stuff like that, but technology and mastery doesn't come to the question how much money we can save.
Yeah.
And quite often, I think organizations are over-obsessed with earnings, which means that they see AI as something that will help them reduce the costs. Fire people, I don't know. We're not there. And we need to understand more.
I need to add something on that. A people-first AI mindset is very, very important. So you don't use AI to your organization to be more efficient in terms of, okay, I'm gonna fire some people, so cost cutting, etc. You are using AI and you are learning and teaching your people to use AI, so they do not do these day-to-day, repetitive, low-value activities, and they can focus on strategy, on creative, on activities that they're gonna bring value for them and for the organization. So if all the people adapt in AI era, they won't lose their job. They're gonna repurpose their job in something much more valuable. So, the machines will do the day-to-day, and the people are gonna have the brain behind that. If you start with the mindset or the words, even the words, efficiency, cost cutting, you're starting in a wrong basis. The people are gonna understand this base, and they're gonna, let's say, attack this enemy that is AI, this enemy for their job, for their salary, etc. So you're not cost cutting, but you're creating opportunities to better utilize the people and the systems and everything you already have. So you become bigger. If the people understand that you're using AI for growth purposes, they're gonna follow you to your vision. If they realize something else, it's gonna not succeed, for sure.
And just something more practical, since we talked about mistakes at the beginning. Whenever you're implementing agentic AI or Gen AI, whatever tool you're running, make sure that you're selecting the correct model, because LLM and NLP makes a significant change in the future. And many mistakes that I have seen, including myself when we're building our first AI, is the work that you're creating on the model, it's going to be crucial on how it will operate in the future. So, and this is, I was in a roundtable last week in Amsterdam, all of them, they have the same issue. The workbook they designed at the beginning when they were setting up the tool. So don't take workbooks lightly when we're setting up, like we're practical. On top of what it's discussed.
Okay, thank you all, thank you very much.